Okay, we're here reviewing Get More Ships on a faction basis, if you can call it that. I'm going to caveat that this video was not made with AI in any way, since we're talking about Bioficer ships this time. Okay, let's go to the first. Yeah, just a small caveat.
See what you did there.
Yeah, if you had to click that little CAPTCHA thing, you're in the right place. Okay, so for Bioficer ships, the first one I picked for third place is the Atlas Catastrophe. I don't know the fluff behind this. It's probably responsible for a catastrophe. I like it because it's a sweet admiral ship with an ability to gain action points, admiral points, ability points. It's ability points. And it has a funny emergency reattachment protocol ability that I think is going to be the best way to troll your opponent forever. Where you just reattach a node.
I didn't actually look at the Admiral stuff all that closely. So I'm only actually reading this for the first time now. And yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Because I feel like you can reattach this to a ship that didn't activate, right?
Oh, yes.
Activate, and then have that cell activate again.
Oh, yes.
Now
I believe that can happen with this.
Now that sounds like some unsportsmanlike behavior.
I don't know, but I mean, what do you expect from AI? They're trying to win, not be fair. Like that. It's win at all costs, man. Get over it.
I thought they like a good fight, though.
Oh, you know, this does have a Thermator with overcharge. Man, damage 3 and damage 2. This is messed up. I take it back.
Knowing my luck, I'll never hit with the 2+ lock.
The ship shouldn't be third place. I take it back. It should be like second or first. The other ones I picked are dumb. Okay.
Didn't you want to talk about why this has overcharge?
Yep. So yeah, like the Thermator, right? Goes on a general quarters. You can't overcharge it because you can only fire one weapon with this ship. The only way to overcharge it is if the ship goes on weapons free. That's where you can overcharge it.
Because overcharging also gives you the high power rule, which says it counts as 2 weapons when firing, correct?
And weapons free says you fire all your weapons. So it doesn't care about the count anymore.
So you can only fire it when you weapons free, or do you get a bonus to firing it when you weapons free and overcharge?
You may only overcharge it on a weapons free order.
So you could fire it normally on general quarters, but you won't get the overcharge rule. You'll just get scald.
Okay.
Or you could fire the heavy light vice instead. But on weapons free, you can fire both, as well as fire the Thermator on overcharge, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and what's the overcharge benefit now?
Double
damage.
Oh,
and then there's also a side grade of it counts as a high power weapon, which says it counts as 2 weapons instead of 1.
Yeah. And then on 6s, on the lock roll, you take the unmodified damage. So
right. You can damage yourself as well.
It's fine.
This is fine. Just, a 12 damage weapon.
That's definitely like a task failed successfully sort of result. There's going to be a lot of computer jokes. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. The Vertex.
I chose this one. Obviously, it's a Corvette. It's the Bioficer Corvette. It's beefy, hull 4. Obviously, it's got descent, but what I noticed is that its weapon does not have close action.
Is that because its weapon
you're right.
is 2 D batteries stapled together?
They're C batteries.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
But yeah, so it's energy, And it can utilize the spikes of whatever else is in the atmosphere, right?
Yes.
And 3 attack on 3 locks, pretty good. So if you get a group of 3, that's a lot of dice.
My main complaint, which is really a compliment, is that it was actually cheaper and tougher than my Echo, which is, was previously the king of Corvettes. I don't know if I'm willing to call this the new king, but it's definitely number 2 at worst.
Oh man.
And it's cheaper, so it might actually just be the best one now, because I didn't notice it didn't have close action. And of course, it's an energy weapon, which I think is a buff over kinetic.
Just take it. You got knocked off the podium.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Vertex is now number 1 Corvette.
I don't think you can spam it though in this fleet because you need so many cells. So
Yeah,
cells
I guess
end up taking those
a little
slots.
bit for the light points.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. So the third, according to Sanguinius, the Combine.
Yeah, this fleet will live or die based on proper usage of cells, so being able to just deploy more cells is kind of a win.
Porter 2? Okay.
Yeah. So it can carry 2 cells.
All right.
This
I
is
get
the
it.
ship you'd run shenanigans with on that Atlas, the Atlas Catastrophe.
Yeah, definitely.
You just have like this rotating barrel of like 3 different Porter ships.
I also think the barb launcher is just plain good. It's not fancy, but it is just good. Most frigates that aren't PHR or heavy will die if they fail their kinetic save, because it does 4 damage outright.
It's just, man.
It's not fancy. It's just good. It does its job.
It's just a slug shotgun. It's only 1 shot, but if it hits,
it's really good.
You're gonna have a bad time. Okay. All right, the invasion cell. Okay, so this is in conjunction with that other one. I think it's extremely funny, but I just like bombardment on a ship that is also dropping stuff. Kind of like the Medea is supposed to be. Although this gets deployed much differently. That's my opinion.
I think paired with, if you can drop a janitor tower, that's that Bioficer feature, onto a contested drop site, and then you just have this bombard it. Then you've got the weird flesh Roomba cycle happening.
Yeah. Flesh Roombas.
Why did you pick this over the Logic, which is the lighter, which does effectively the same thing for 5 more points? It just isn't invasion.
Because then I can say I'm not using Logic.
Okay.
I can't.
All right.
I can't go back and look at it right now because I'm in the presentation.
It's basically the same thing, only it's not a cell. I guess it has 2 hull instead of 1, and slightly worse saves.
I think it's also rare too. Isn't there something rare, unique?
Oh yeah, the Logic does have rare on it.
You know, that's like, is that like the Roomba joke about common sense isn't common? Logic is rare.
Yeah, sure, I'll take that.
Okay, the Diode.
Oh, that's the one I picked. Right.
Yeah, it's like a chop saw.
Yeah, the bisector. It's just plain great. So the stats themselves, it's basically, once you factor in like the backup save, this is effectively a PHR frigate, which, that makes me happy to see, just in someone else's fleet, which doesn't make me happy to see. And then so Penetrator is a critical hit will change the damage type to core, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So good luck, Penetrator. You'll basically be doing core damage when it's 3 damage from 2 shots, so 6 damage total. That's nothing to sneeze at. And then it gets better against the bigger ships. So, like, it can hunt the little ships, like other frigates and stuff, really efficiently. But then it gets slightly better when it hunts bigger ships. So
I
I think this ship is very dangerous, and I like it.
I like it too. I think bisector, it makes sense, but I want to call it a biosector since everyone else is not a robot, but whatever. Okay.
They guess they're gonna make their drones out of flesh, man. They're not completely
Yeah,
metallic.
I know the moon men were 3D printed. I get it. Okay, the Cypher.
So this is the one I was talking about with the thermator, right? So
Yeah, I
overcharge,
was questioning your pick because I didn't understand it.
right? I think if I remember correctly, this is also a light cruiser
Yes,
too
this
as
is a
well.
light cruiser equivalent.
Yeah, so it's real. The point cost on it is really good. Slap a cell on it. The group is still 1-3. I know I see it's a hull 5. I get it, but you're also like the points that you're paying for it. You don't care.
Yeah, this weapon is so incredibly dangerous. Even without considering overcharge, the weapon itself is still good. I think.
Yeah,
Like
that
crazy.
It really
that's why I
is.
liked it.
You can overcharge it, and then it's like, oh man, this thing is insane.
So if you overcharge and you roll buku damage and take damage yourself, you still resolve all the shots before you potentially destroy the ship, right?
Be simultaneous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize this one, man. If you roll enough sixes, you
Yeah,
blow yourself
you
up.
will just blow yourself up. It's great.
I mean,
I-
I love carnage, so like I'm okay with
Oh
that.
gosh, you're right. If it rolls a perfect 3 6s to hit on the first shot, it will kill itself during that shooting, because it will actually deal the unmodified damage from overcharge. So that's still 2 damage for 3 6s for 6 damage.
Yep.
and I assume that the porter is out, right? Like, if it's in, it dies with it, right?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah. So you want you want to make sure you throw that out before you.
Yeah. Kick the cells out first, and then overcharge the thermator, and murderate something.
I mean, maybe
Exactly.
it makes sense to do it on like closer to the home side. Early.
Remember, do you kick them out? Do you kick them out after your move, or do you kick them out after their activation?
I don't know. I don't have the rules.
I think it's activation. I'm not sure. You know, what do you think? I read the rules? Come on. All right.
No, you didn't, because I did it and I read them to you.
I know. Okay. All right. The cacophony. Okay, I can
Cacophony.
tell. Excuse me.
Cacophony. Get my flesh Roomba's names right.
I'm thinking it's like a Pokemon, so it's cacophony.
Pokemon is that?
I don't know. It's a dangerous one, I would say. So the cacophony lives up to its name, I guess. It's bristling with tiny lasers. So it only has 2 weapons total, but it really wants the weapons free because those lasers get better on weapons free. So you really just want a weapons free with this thing. That plus the scythe rule means that it can target launch assets, which I believe you normally can't do. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
You're right.
So it can do something most other ships can't do in targeting launch assets. And then it also has burn-through lasers. So like this thing, it's the Burninator. It's got armor piercing and it's anti-launch asset. I really like this thing.
Wow. It's almost like a space flamer.
Yeah.
like conceptually, since it can hit the launch assets.
I'm going to rename this to the cousin of Trogdor, the Burninator, because it needs to have a C, otherwise it would break the naming convention for cruisers. It's the Burninator. It's his cousin.
I'm just thinking of like the double stacked Wendy's burger with the fucking bacon on it. The Baconator.
Probably.
This is how you know I'm an American. All right. Okay, the Mantle. Oh, I picked this.
You did.
No, I legitimately like it because it's a bombardment ship. Big surprise. But also, it's core type damage.
Yeah.
And it has arrest too.
What does arrest do exactly? I vaguely remember it.
reduce thrust by that amount.
Is it for each attack that goes through, or just it does one if it's successful?
They've been pretty good in making sure. I think they've been pretty good in making sure that things don't get stacked. Ship damage. Yeah, so they cap it. You only can get it reduced once by the rest rule per round. So whatever it targets.
So a different group can't do it on top of this one doing it.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it's still good.
Then, without a rest, it may be a little slow, but as a close action weapon, it's got 12-inch scan, so you really don't care about how slow it is. And you don't need the arrest. You do core damage on a 3+.
Yeah.
It's dangerous in general.
And I don't know.
I think you're just going to use the bombardment all the time.
Yeah. What is core damage? Okay, there's a couple things. I know the bombardment stuff sort of gives you access to shooting at stuff in atmosphere, but or in descent ships, whatever. And what does core damage do to a drop site?
It does core damage. Drop sites and/or features still have kinetic saves and stuff like that.
You mean backup saves?
Yeah, I don't. Saves maybe. I
don't think any of them actually do. Yeah.
But I don't see any reason to think that you couldn't write something custom for it. But
or like a feature. Isn't there a feature that gives a backup save?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, well.
I can't think of any.
Okay,
but even then, you ignore the kinetic and or energy saves, so core damage is still good.
So to me, it's like the stubby mosquito of Doom compared to the other one.
12-inch scan too is nothing to watch about.
Oh yeah, it's like a really slow guy with extremely good vision.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's the fat Robo Eagle. Okay, how about the stature?
I like this battle cruiser. 12 dice. Front narrow's not as bad in this edition as it was in the first edition. So you should be able to turn pretty well, get your target in there, drop 12 dice. And then the other reason why I really like it is if it combines with the Admiral ability, because this is a decon weapon. If you need to change it to a kinetic weapon, you can.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. I'm looking at the number of dice, and I'm just thinking about like the Emerald motherships from Sheltari with their disruptors. And I'm just like, it's just more dice at more accuracy. It looks so good to me. Like, it's not full of fancy rules, but it just seems so solid.
Yeah. They can't see the points, but I'm shocked at how cheap this thing is.
Also, if you turn your head sideways, it's just a dude T-posing with his legs together. Called the stature. No one noticed that, right? Okay.
Not until you mentioned it, but okay, now I can't unsee
it. I really like the ship, actually. I'm just being a dumb guy.
Yeah, it's basically a normal thrust with the Sheltari level scan. This is almost like a Sheltari ship in a different fleet, just without the energy save.
Yeah, you see what I mean about the like?
Oh yeah.
It gives me the. I think you can get more in there. I mean, it's 4/4 and it has a 5-up backup save and 12 hull. It's pretty sturdy. Not invincible, but.
I mean, do you think you see 2 of these in a list?
2? Is it heavy? I assume.
Yes, it is heavy. So you can't group it or anything, but.
I think you could.
Just forget lights and just go cruisers with invasion cells and janitor towers and 2 of these.
I mean, I think these 2 of these, they're just, especially when you talk about switching type to kinetic, then they become super universal. You know, you can kind of match up to whatever you need with these. And
Yeah.
you're rolling enough dice. Unlike a lot of other weapons we saw, it's only 1 damage, but also it's so consistent with 12 dice on 3s. It's just solid, in my opinion. To me, it's what you use to start killing frigates or what you use to finish off a big ship that's having a hard time.
Yeah, it could do both very well.
Okay, well that's all our ground beef Roomba talk. Does anyone want to add anything?
Near miss for me would have been there was that cutter that can bend the shots.
Oh,
Oh,
Tally.
the
That's
one,
my runner up. Yeah.
the one with the
that was
curve.
on as well.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that as a runner up. Because it's also core damage ship. Its weapon is also core damage as well.
They made him spooky. Why did they make him so scary?
I mean, when they're called flesh Roombas, they have to be scary.
So, their Roomba's made out of flesh, right? Or are they scooping up flesh?
They're AIs that deploy flesh troops by 3D printing them, I guess, something like that. And then they can also absorb matter. I haven't read too much of the lore on them just yet.
Sounds like they have to vacuum it up first, so they got to grind it down. Then they can reconstruct it.
Okay. Man, all right. Well, I look forward to my Roomba Overlord. I hope everyone enjoyed this. We're losing our minds slowly.